Testing 1, 2, 3. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Yep. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Sorry about that. Didn't have the mic on. So, again, my name is William Dallas. Welcome to Live. My name is William Dallas, and this is the Higher Standards Chronicles. I'm making sure that we have sound because our sound was acting crazy. Yeah, welcome to the live world, the world of live video and live audio. So let's see if this is sure. Okay, we have it. Got it. Okay, so welcome to live audio video. Okay, so let's start over. The key today is learning how to grow and to get past a certain specific point in your life. One of the things that I know that everybody is dealing with, especially people that are actually doing business and having other things happening in their lives, is timing. Now, we learn timing from a strange way. We learn the timing of other things and other people's things, when in actuality, the timing that you're looking for is assigned to the thing that you decide to do. The timing that you're looking for is assigned to the thing that you are about to do. Now, what does that mean? So, I was in the kitchen just a minute ago, just me. I was in the kitchen. And while I was in the kitchen, I saw, I'm going to show you something, just a second, guys. While I was in the kitchen, I saw something. I want to make sure this is done correctly. Hold on, baby. I was looking at something, and while I was looking at something, I realized that what I saw had a problem that did not make sense. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Give me this quick second. This is live. I'm telling you, when you do live, this is the kind of junk that you run into. When you do live, this is the kind of junk you run into. Okay, so. Okay. There and there. Now, I should have done this earlier, but okay, so let me show you. Where is it? Okay, good. Now, okay, so everybody pay attention to this. This is a pen that my wife purchased for me. She purchased this pen for me probably about 2 years ago, and it's a pretty nice pen. You see that pen? It's a pretty nice pen. It writes well, writes really well. It is made by, I believe it's a Cross pen. I'm not real sure. Oh, Mont Blanc. It's a Mont Blanc pen. So this is a really nice pen. One of my favorite pens. And here's where it gets really interesting. It's one of my favorite pens. It stopped writing. When it stopped writing, I put it to the side, and I went from that pen to, these are also one of the favorites of mine, and I forget who makes these pens. One of my favorites. I went and bought this pen, and I actually bought them in different colors because I like them so much. I have a blue, a black, and a thing. So I like them so much. And now, what am I saying about timing? So let's go back to this pen. This pen, I don't know. She could have bought it on. This pen, these pens are $2. I know these pens are $2. This pen, let's just say this pen is $20. Okay, this pen is $2. This pen is $20. Check this out. This is business 101, guys. When this pen stopped writing, I stopped dealing with this pen and started dealing with this pen. I just went and purchased another pen. But what it did, it put me in the mindset of not completing processes. Not completing processes. How many things can you look around your house right now? You're a business person. You're a person that wants to be spiritually adapt. You want to be astute to the spirit. How many things can you look around your house and say, all I needed to do was to take this off, unscrew this. I don't know how you do it. Yeah, unscrew this and go get another one of these, and this pen would be working again. But what happens is you get to the point where you don't want to be bothered with something. And so what you do is you ignore the opportunity to fix whatever this situation is. And in this case, it's this pen. You ignore the opportunity to fix this pen and you leave it there. Open things in your lives cause you to become lazy and distracted by the present things. The timing that this thing, and I got to put this pen back together because I'm sitting there messing with it now. Okay. The timing that it took the time that it took to put this pen together or get another pen for this was probably 5 or 6 minutes or 5 or 6 seconds. I probably didn't need to do that that way. But here's the key. We stop doing stuff because we don't understand the timing of the thing. What you have to realize is in your spiritual life, when something is released to you in your spirit, when something is released to your mind, you need to develop that thing all the way out. You need to develop it all the way out, because if you don't develop it all the way out, what you do is you miss the timing. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story. When I'm talking to the people, yeah, you guys meet me on YouTube. When I'm talking to the people before this whole big thing happened with churches, with the COVID, I'm talking, if you can go back on my videos, you go through Facebook and you can see the video where I said, guys, church is about to change as we know it. You guys need to prepare. Nobody listened. Everybody kind of thinks everything's going to be the same. 2 months later, COVID happened and everybody couldn't go to church. So church, as we know it, changed. Same situation there. I said a couple of times, look back in the videos, I said, guys, you guys need to start having conferences in cities where they allow you to have gatherings. Everybody looks at me like I'm crazy. No big deal. All of a sudden now these big conferences and thousands of people are showing up for these conferences. Because why? It's the timing. A lot of us are missing the timing. And so when I start teaching you things, I'm trying to teach you something. When I say in this situation, spirituality, those people that really need to learn how to move spiritually, you need to learn now. Why? Because there are going to be things where that spirituality is necessary. Timing. So now I'm looking at this pen, and I looked at this pen this morning, and I don't understand why this is doing this. Why is it doing this? Anyway, I looked at this pen this morning, and when I looked at this pen this morning, I'm going, I love this pen. Why am I not using this pen? And the reason I wasn't using the pen is because I did not allow the pen to be utilized the way I needed to be utilized. I did not take the time, hear me guys, I did not take the time necessary for this pen to be fixed because I felt like there were other things important. Procrastination is not always the fact that you're lazy. Procrastination is sometimes the fact that you feel there's something more important that needs to be done than what you're doing right now. So I finally got the pen back together, guys. I'm like, how do I get this pen back together? So what are those things in your life that's happening? This is my book. I wrote this book. You can see my wife on the back. That's my book. I wrote. Let's see, get the focus. Yeah, I wrote this book. I have 2 more books that I'm supposed to be writing. But there are things that are happening in my life that makes me feel like maybe I need to be doing this, or maybe that I need to do this. Every idea that comes to your life, you need to develop it all the way out. Why? Because if you don't develop it all the way out, when the season comes for that thing, you're now in desperation, rushing, trying to make this thing happen. Why? Because we get caught up in the systems of this system. We get caught up in other people's pressure and other people's world, and we don't finish things. What you need to do, this shouldn't be a long video. What you need to do is now go back and start bringing completion to some of the things that you didn't bring completion to. I had $1 billion idea that I didn't bring completion to, and now somebody else is doing the $1 billion idea. Every idea, you have to realize you are a spiritual being. You're not a religious being, so church is not important. You're not a Christian being, so trying to be Christian is not important. You're a spiritual being, which means you carry the attributes of God. You carry the attributes of God. That means whatever you focus on, you have the opportunity to bring life to that thing. So stop trying to manifest stuff and start bringing life to stuff. You have the ability to give life to this thing. And so what happens is a lot of you are still stuck in the primary. Let me say this again. Religion is the lowest form of spirituality you can deal with. For you that are trying to just get into spirituality, church and religion is a great way to do it. Christianity is the second lowest, but it's the next level. Why? In religion, you need to learn. In Christianity, you want to be seen. Just let y'all hold that. In Christianity, you want to be seen. And so people start talking, I'm a Christian. Why? Because you want to be seen. Godliness gets to a point that you want your presence to be felt. So when you get the pen and you see this pen, by the time we talk tomorrow, this pen should be writing. When you begin to put down on your pad, where's my notepad? Where's my notepad? When you begin to put down in your notepad, so I got little tabs and things on my notepad, and your notepad should have what you need to do, what you need to accomplish in your day. Your notepad should show completions of things you need to complete. You need to complete certain things. You shouldn't have to be doing. Listen very carefully. Listen very carefully. When you complete something, you give your spirit the opportunity to bring things to you that increase what you just completed. Example, when I finished book 1, book 2 had an open door, because those people that read book 1 are going, hey, I like to hear book 2. Or I like to see book 2. But if I never wrote book 1, I'm sitting there going, man, how come anybody follow me on Facebook? Why? Because I never completed thing 1 so that thing 2 had room. Because you have to realize your mind has a certain level of capacity. Your emotions have a certain level of capacity. And if it's over that capacity, something has to fall off. Something has to go sacrifice. Something has to leave in order to get that capacity there. So what happens is your spirit will attract to you the things that will produce at the highest level. Your spirit will attract to you the things that produce at the highest level. So while you are sitting in church trying to figure out whether you should praise or not praise, what your spirit is doing is searching to figure out what's the thing that keeps you in line. Hear me, guys. That keeps you in line with God. Take your time, think about it. That keeps you in line with God. So everything, look, I have a piece of this. I'm supposed to be putting this together. I have the camera case. I'm supposed to be putting the camera case on top of the camera. All these things, guys, are open opportunities that are in your life that are now putting you in the position where you can't move to the next level at the speed you need to move to the next level, because what happens is you're stuck in this place of fear. Fear. I talked about fear yesterday. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more today. I talked about fear yesterday. So here's the thing. Fear is a parasite. And the purpose of that parasite is to take on the attributes of the host, and you are the host. So anytime somebody comes to talk to you about something that you're about to do and they start giving you fear, they're opening opportunities. Check this out, guys. Hear me. They're opening opportunities to assign fear to you. So check this out. When someone comes and says, hey, I want to start a business, and you say, I don't know, man, you open them up to the parasite of fear. When you open them up to the parasite of fear, you then give them the opportunity to give that parasite to somebody else. Some of you have been passing the parasite on instead of going, dude, maybe we need to study this thing. Maybe we need to figure this thing out. Maybe we need to do a little bit more research. Instead of going, you can't do that. Man, you have given them opportunity for a parasite. So you have become a host, or as I heard a friend say, a super host. Why? Because fear is not a spirit. Fear is a parasite. It is a shapeshifter. It looks like you, it acts like you, and it offers opportunities to you. So when you take the pen and don't complete the pen, you have told fear, I'm afraid that if I do this, I'll miss out on this. And once that parasite has taken place in your life, it becomes a life of its own. It begins to guide you by making you live in your past, by making you live of old stuff. I need to talk about this every day. Some of you are stuck in the parasite, and that parasite is eating away at your life. And some of your parasites are in major positions. Money. You're worried about money. And I said, I know why wealthy people don't hang around people that don't have money. Because people that are wealthy are assuming that the next opportunity will come for them to get more money. So money is a foregone conclusion. For wealthy people, we live a quarter mile at a time. That's what I got my Fast and Furious reference. We live a quarter of a mile at a time. We live from one bill to another. never realizing that if we elevate from a carnal mental place to a spiritual place, we live from one move of God in our lives to the next move of God. We move from one spiritual move to another spiritual move. Right now, hear me, all of you are sitting there and you're being held captive by the mindset of what could possibly go wrong. You're living at the mindset of what could possibly go wrong. So while you're living at the mindset of what could possibly go wrong, you cloud the opportunity for new ideas to come into your mind. Why? Here are some clouds. Cloud, I got to get to church. Well, I'll be glad when they open the doors of the church so I can go back to church. Why? You're a spirit. So what you invited in church, you can invite to your local situation or to your things. Second, oh my God, I got to make sure I fulfill the obligations of people, especially my children and my grandparents and my auntie. Why? If God can help you, God can help them. You're a spiritual being. Your job is not to be attached to the things that are starting to distract you. Fear has now turned you into a person that is serving the world at the sacrifice of yourself. Your job is not to sacrifice yourself. Your job is to live in your flow, and people live through your overflow. Let me say that again. Your job is to live in your flow and for your help to come from your overflow. That's why when you give, you don't have to want anything in return. Why? Because you're living in your overflow. That's why you give, so you can have an overflow. Your job is to live in your flow. Oh my God. Your job is to live in your flow and to live in the overflow. Sister Sheila, I'm on live right now on YouTube. If you go to YouTube.com/Higher Talk, I'm there. YouTube.com/Higher Talk. Bye, sweetie. That was important. So you live in your overflow, just like that. You live. See, stop trying to give people part of your supply. And I'm going to help you guys out. See, fear has inundated you so deeply. Let me turn this thing on so it doesn't do that again. Fear has inundated you so deeply that your fear that something may be missing or you'll miss out on something causes you not to operate in the completion of fixing the ink pen. I'm going to take this real deep for you right quick. I'm going to take this real deep. Y'all follow me. Here's how deep this is. So what you have done is you're living in this place where you're afraid that God is not going to be in the places that he needs to be in your life, so you feel like you need to help him. So instead of trusting that your spirit searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of God, you feel like you have to do a part because religion has taught you that your part that you do in it is according to how you figure it out. The Bible says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart, lean not to thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, two different scriptures, and then he will direct your path. The Bible says, eye have not seen, ear have not heard, neither has entered into the heart of man the things that God has prepared for them that love him. But it is revealed by his spirit, for the spirit searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of God. The Bible says, be faithful over a few things, and I'll make you rulers over many. What you have to realize is, the fear has inundated your life in such a way that you believe that you're fixing problems by not spending time cultivating your spirit. So you feel like you're building something or fixing something by not cultivating your spirit. So you're held prisoner to money. You're held prisoner to people's feelings about you. You're held prisoner to what people think about you. We've been taught that pride means that you're saying something arrogant about yourself. But it's amazing to me that we go to a doctor, and when we go to the doctor, if he doesn't prove to us that he's a valid doctor, we don't want to see him. But you can't tell them, listen, I'm the best business person you'll know. I'm the best real estate person you'll know. I'm the best this. Why? Because we've been taught in a shrewd manner. We've been taught we must boast about other people more than ourselves. We're to put other people first more than ourselves. But see, the key to that is, and hear me, the key to that is putting yourself Second means you have to know yourself in order to put yourself second. So if you have not gotten to know who you are actually putting yourself in a position where you'll never know who you are because you're busy trying to be who they are. I'm tired of people trying to be like their pastor. I'm tired of people trying to be like the bishop. Listen, all these names and all these titles are great. Don't have a problem with them. They're grown. They do what they want to do. But you've got to realize, stop fearing that God is not there for you. Stop fearing that you have not operated in the place that you've been called. Where you are, brace yourself. Where you are is exactly where you need to be. Where you are is exactly where you need to be. And when you understand that where you are exactly where you need to be, stop trying to say, man, when I get out of this situation, you don't need to get out of this situation. Figure out why you're in this situation. Why? Because when you're trying to get out of a situation, you move from spirituality to desperation. You move from spirituality to desperation. On my last show, what I would do on Facebook, every Wednesday, I would do what I call Cash App Wednesday. And what I would do on Cash App Wednesday is I said, everybody find somebody and cash app them something. $5, $10, $20, $100, $1 million. Cash app them something. Get into the mentality that your supply is not you, your supply is God. So I said, look on the list, find somebody and cash app them. And call them up and say, hey, what's your cash app? Send them money. Why? If the system begins to learn, every Wednesday somebody will get something. And they'll start to realize that it's not about the amount of money. It's about my connection to God and how I stay connected to God. It was a blessing. People were getting money to supply needs, all those things. And what happens is God was moving in these people's lives. It wasn't a tithe. It wasn't an offering. And guess what? The people that weren't doing it, He was blessing them too. Stop letting fear own you. It owns you. Now, how do you know? If I say to you, hey, let's go somewhere, let's do this, and you go, well, I might have something to do. You've allowed fear to just jump on top of you right then. I'll never forget this. I was talking to this young man here, and I said, I'm having a couples conference. We do a couples conference in October. And I said, hey, dude, we're having a couples conference. Why don't you come to the couples conference? And he looks at his schedule. Follow me now. He looks at his schedule and he says to me, well, I don't have nothing on my schedule now, but I don't know, something may come up. I said, dude, write it on your schedule. The reason he wouldn't write it on the schedule, he was afraid of what his wife may say about the conference. Guys, these inundated fears have stopped you from doing what you need to do. Some of you have businesses that go, why don't I got 3,000 followers, but I know people that got 20,000 followers. Why don't I have 3,000 followers? You're afraid to simply say, I'm going to go and pay for an ad so that I can make the people, I can follow the people. You're afraid to tell people I'm the best at this. I'm the best at this. Yeah, nobody does this better than me. If you want to do that, say I'm one of the best in the country. You're not lying, because if you're the 15th best, you're one of the best. Why? Stop being afraid to be who you are. Stop being afraid to move forward. Stop being afraid. If you're on the YouTube, I need you to type in the comments, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. Then I need you to say that. Look around you, go, I'm not afraid anymore. Look around your room, I'm not afraid anymore. And I'm not going to let fear stop me. Type it. I'm not afraid anymore, and I'm not going to let fear stop me. Because fear is not a spirit. Now, if fear is not a spirit, then fear doesn't have the power of a spirit. Take your time, guys. If fear is not a spirit, then fear doesn't have the power of the spirit. So that means that it attaches to you so that it can use your power. Are you following me? So if it's not a spirit, that's why the Bible says God is not giving you the spirit of fear. Every spirit comes from the divine. And if the spirit doesn't come from Him, it's not a spirit. So if He isn't giving you that spirit or allowed that spirit in this world, it means you have taken your desire, and you've decided on your own that you're going to allow this spirit to have life, so you allow it to attach to you. And you share that spirit with everybody. You share that parasite with everybody. Girl, I don't know. Listen, stop talking about you don't know. Stop using fear. Simply say, listen, let's think about this before we do it. Let's think about this before we do it. Stop being fearful. Stop, man, I think you better watch out for the white people. You better, fear. It's not about white or black. Can I tell you something? There is no such thing as racism in the state that we think it is. Racism is an economic transport. Is an economic racism is I can't even think what I'm trying to say. Racism is a construct. That's what I'm trying to say. Construct. Racism is an economic construct. It is not about you being black or you being white. It's about keeping you financially ignorant to what's available to you, because by keeping you spiritually ignorant to who you are. Say it again, because I said that kind of scattered. It's about financially keeping you ignorant by keeping you spiritually ignorant to who you are. Spiritually ignorant to who you are. Most of you are religiously knowledgeable of who you are, but you're not spiritually knowledgeable of who you are. When you want to get yourself together, you don't know you have the power to sit in your living room and get your life together. You feel like you need to go to a church and go talk to a religious person. And so what happens is the finances are going while black people are fighting black people and white people are fighting white people. They are financially growing. Wealthy people are financially growing and developing things in this life. I just told a friend of mine, this is a season to do big things. And he said to me, he said, stop being a small person. Think big. You have a big God. That's not exactly how I said it, but that's what I'm saying. If you are a spiritual person, you are much bigger than your situation. And the reason that you're in your situation, hear me spiritually, the reason you're in your situation is to affect the situation, not for the situation to affect you. So while you're trying to affect the situation, you can't be afraid to say, I'm here to fix this. When you call a plumber, the plumber, they're going, maybe, man, I might. He goes, the plumber is here to fix it. So you being a spiritual being, you're there to affect that environment that you're in. But when you begin to attach yourself to all the things that make that environment important, to make yourself less important because of fear, you're afraid to say, I am good at this. I'm the best at this. You're afraid to say, I'm going to study till I'm better than everybody else. You're afraid to say, listen, I can do this. And so what happens is you use other things to distract you so you don't have to face the fact of who you really are. That's the parasite. That's not you. That's the parasite. That's the fear parasite doing that. That parasite is doing it to you. It is connected so deeply to your life that it makes you think that what it is really you. You ever sat in the room and you just feel like, man, I don't know. I just don't know. That's the parasite. That's not you. Because spiritually, you have all power at your access. So why would you worry about certain things when you have all power at your access? That's the parasite. Some of you need to watch this video over and over again on YouTube, because you have to realize, let me give you some attributes of the parasite. Number one, feeling like you're depressed and you're down, like you just don't know, there's no hope. That's the parasite. Number two, fear just hits you for no reason. I can't do this and I can't do this, and you've never experienced it. That's the parasite. Follow me now. Let me help you out. Example, we go, and I don't know where, is it on one of my phones? It's not on my phone. My wife and I go scuba diving. And I was talking to this young lady. I said, can you swim? She said, yeah. She said, oh, I'm afraid of scuba diving. I said, why are you afraid of scuba diving? She said, oh my God. And she gave me all these attributes, and I said this one thing. I said, have you ever done it before? She goes, no. Parasite. See, the parasite of fear will bring things to your mind to keep you from moving to your next level. It will convince you that if you stay right here, it's the safest place possible. Watching a movie the other day. While I'm watching the movie, matter of fact, Speed, with Keanu Reeves, the first one. When the elevator begins to fall, the lady is so gripped with fear, she would rather stay in the elevator that's going to fall than escape with the people that are already safe. Parasite makes you make dumb decisions when the right decision makes sense. Parasite. Those are attributes of parasite. Afraid to say something to your husband because something may, you don't know how he may respond. Go to your husband and say, you know what, you did a good job of that. I don't want him to get the big hit. Parasite. You have parasites that are attached to you that are controlling life. You don't even know it. So while the parasite is there, you don't hear the warning of the spirit. See, the warning of the spirit and the parasite may look just alike. This is why the passage says, the carnal mind and the spirit, the carnal and the spiritual are enmity. See, when you understand the difference in the parasite and the parasite will cause you to fear movement because you believe there's a penalty. The spirit will caution you in movement, but it will give you the strength to understand you can fix it. Example, you're getting ready to go outside. It's going to storm. The parasite, the fear parasite, will tell you it's going to storm, you're going to get struck by lightning, then you're going to slide off the road. It brings all the things that cause you to get into desperation. The spirit will simply say, hey, take an umbrella and be careful when you're driving, slow down a bit. One causes a response in the flesh or in your body, the other causes a movement in your spirit. I've dealt with this thing for years. This parasite will put together things that have no possibility of ever happening. What time is it? Good. Have no possibility of ever happening. The other thing is stop having. See, I told you, I really understood why wealthy people didn't hang around non-wealthy people, because this parasite floats among us. Oh my God, girl, if you don't pay your tithes, parasite. That's not God. It's a parasite. Oh, if you don't go to church, girl, you better get up. Everybody in this house go to church on Sunday. Parasite. When I decided to start moving to the next level of my life, I had to get delivered from three types of spirits, or three parasites. The parasite of religion, the parasite of people, and the parasite of leadership. So where you are dealing with certain things and you're afraid to do them because of how the person is going to respond, so you never even investigate how to do it, that is the parasite. Let me help you out, because I don't want this to be too deep. Let me help you out. For example, right now, my wife needs to get up before we leave because she has to buy some stuff for what we're doing today. Now, I'm going, I know she's going to start cussing and screaming, parasite. Because the spirit does not give you the fear of it. What the spirit, when you are spiritual, it gives you the options of how to do it. So I'm talking to this girl, I said, so you've never scuba dived before? She said, no. I said, then how do you know that it's time? Well, I just know. You can't just know because you've never experienced it. So if you hear that, I just know, that means you've allowed the parasite to give you attributes to tell you not to do it. I'm riding down the street one day. This is me. I'm riding down the street one day. And matter of fact, I'll tell you, I'm going from Atlanta to Birmingham. Not Birmingham, from Atlanta to Muscle Shoals, Alabama to preach. I'm going to preach. But I have to be back in Atlanta, so it went like this. I would preach on Wednesday, go back home, get my clothes, come back on Wednesday, come back on Thursday, and drive back. And it was a 5-hour drive both ways. So I drove there, drove back, drove there. On my way back, it was tag time. I didn't have a tag. I didn't have my insurance card. I had absolutely, positively nothing. And I was trying to get to Alabama because I needed to do this conference. As I'm riding down the street, I know the time. I am at the last mile marker. No, their last three. I'm 3 miles from the border of Alabama. As I'm 3 miles from the border of Alabama, I pass a state trooper. And I'm sitting here trying my best to drive as fast as I can so I can get over that border so that he can't say anything to me. I'm flying, and I got my little Honda Accord. I get to the border. I am so freaked out with this man. I'm going, oh my God, what is going to happen to me? I know I'm going to go to jail because of all this stuff I don't have in my car. Now, here's the thing. Here's where that parasite had gone to. It stopped me from hearing in the spirit because it diluted my thought process here. See, what you have to realize is the parasite's job is not to make you afraid. It's to stop you from being knowledgeable. It's to stop knowledge. The parasite's job is not to make you afraid, but to stop you from being knowledgeable. So it dilutes your flow of knowledge from the spirit to your mind because it makes you occupy your mind more than it does your spirit. So the guy pulls up, the state trooper, he barrels down to catch me. Now, I'm not speeding, but I'm doing a good 70 maybe. He barrels out, catches me, and pulls over. He pulls me over. I am freaking out because I don't have a tag, I don't have insurance, I don't have my license plate. This is when the license plates change. He walks to my car, and when he walks to my car, I'm sitting there thinking, what lie, parasite, could I come up with so I don't get a ticket? Fortunately for me, I had been praying and meditating the whole time. So when I thought to tell the lie, I said, you know what? Worst thing he can do is give me a ticket. Worst thing that can happen, he's not going to take me to jail because it's a misdemeanor. He comes up to the car and he looks in the car and he says, how you doing? I said, fine. He said, you know, I saw you about a couple miles back. I said, yes, sir, I do. He said, I'd like to hear this story. I said, what do you mean? He said, tell me. He said, why would you be driving in my city with no license plate, no sticker on your car? He said, I'd like to hear this I'd like to hear this story. And I basically told him I was in Alabama preaching. I finished preaching Wednesday. I went home Thursday to get some clothes. I have to start again preaching on Saturday. On Friday. So I'm trying to get back long enough so that I can rest. I got my license plates and tags and all those stuff in the mail. I just never opened it and I didn't bring it with me. And when I get home, I'll put all the stuff on. He looked at me and he said, I'm gonna make you a deal. He said, fix that before you come back to my city. He said, because the next time you come to my city, and if you don't have any of that stuff in your car, he said, you and I are gonna have a little bit of a problem. I said, yes, sir, and I leave. Until you've experienced it, you are now living with a parasite that tells you that. And I'm gonna take this a step further, and please hear me very closely. I'm doing pretty good. Hear me very closely. COVID. Now, I understand. I really believe that COVID is real. And I've said it a couple times that we've made it more than it actually is. And, for some people it's right, some people it's not. No big deal. But here's the thing. That parasite has attached itself to your ability to be healed, to prosper, and to have a good relationship. And the reason, this is how it's happening. Follow me, guys. This is how it's happening. And the number one purpose of the parasite is to block your growth through knowledge. I wish above all that will prosper, be in health, as your soul prospers. So the desire of parasite is to get you to live on the primitive level of life and not live in the knowledge of God and the Spirit. So what happens to you, I need you to hear me. So what happens, right now, you have a sickness. Let's say you have diabetes. Let's say you have cancer. Let's say you have any of these types of things. Right now, fear has attached itself to you that you're trying to figure out which one of the things on this level can help you stay alive. But if you get past the fear of whatever the disease is, whatever the ailment, whatever the situation, you will begin to hear what you can do, hear me, to fix the problem. Not pacify it, not put a Band-Aid on it, fix the problem. That means that there is something that can be done to heal the cancer, to heal the diabetes, to fix the financial situation, to fix the relationship situation. There is something there in the spiritual realm that you can use to get to this level. As long as you stay attached to the fear of what's happening, you will always be in a position of teetering between desperation and hope. Now, am I saying that you're going to supernaturally be healed? I'm not saying that, but I'm also not saying that. But I am saying that something in your spirit will click and say, hey, you that have diabetes, every morning drink water. Then it'll be validated by something on television will show on and go, hey man, did you know diabetes is basically a water deficit? And all of a sudden you begin to drink water every morning. And when you begin to drink water every morning, what will happen to you is you will go to the doctor and your diabetes is decreased and it's starting to fix itself. Why? Not because you were divinely healed, which you can be, but because you begin to get past the parasite that blocked the knowledge that gave you the ability to fix the problem. See, some of you are going to have to face fear or face the parasite. There was a show, the Spider-Man with Maguire, with Tony Maguire or whatever Maguire, that Spider-Man before the new one, and the parasite was called Venom. And he said Venom attaches to you and it magnifies your worst attributes. Some of you need to watch that because you have a parasite. I had to get delivered from the parasite. The parasite, check this out. If I called somebody right now, I call somebody right now. I'm not going to say anybody anyway because I don't want to sound like I'm saying about it. If I call somebody right now and I said, I am stuck in your city. I need a ride from where I am to the airport. Then I need you to wait for me so I can get my ticket and then I'm going to hang out with you. Okay? You begin to think a number of ways. What do I have to do today? When do I have to do it? What happens? All these little things you think about. Now, that's the natural flow. You think about what your schedule is like. If there is nothing on your schedule, you simply don't like driving people around. The parasite kicks in and you never come up with another solution. If you don't come up with another solution and I get angry because you won't do what I asked you to do, I'm allowing the parasite that is so deep inside of me because I feel like you can't help me, so I can't have help. So now I got this parasite. But I never take the time, you never take the time to say, how do I operate in the spirit pertaining to this situation? How do I operate in the spirit pertaining to this circumstance? You will look at your natural things and go, okay, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? And you go, oh, I can't do it because I got to work on this time. You never think past that. Another situation. Now, this is all about timing because fear will stop your timing. Another thing. I'm with a pastor in California. I'll never forget this all the days of my life. I'm with a pastor in California. We do some work early in the morning. And we did a prayer service early in the morning. After we left the prayer service, we went to have breakfast. It was about 9 o'clock. So I'm sitting there and I say to him, hey, you know what you might want to do is call your wife and see if she wants some breakfast, because this is supposedly one of these great, little down home, hometown breakfast joints. And he says she likes it. He goes, no, I'm not going to call her. I said, why not? He said, because no, my wife sleeps late on Saturday. She's not going to wake up till about 11 o'clock. And I said, you sure about that? He said, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Guess what, guys? 15 minutes later, his wife calls. She said, baby, where are you? He said, I'm at such and such. She said, why didn't you call me and see if I wanted some breakfast? This little thing is so deep inside of us that you need to have a purging in your spirit. And the only way to purge this thing is to face it. When I went scuba diving, I was not the happiest person in the world. Once we went under the water, I'm telling you guys, I'm thinking of every shark movie, every piranha movie. I'm thinking of every movie that can kill people underwater possible. I'm afraid, but I'm there. So my wife says, let's do it a second time. Now the fear tried to reattach itself to me, and I said, nope, we're going to do it. We did it the second time. It was perfect. But I'm still battling the parasite because the residuals of the parasite are still attached to you. Right now you're going, okay, I need money. I need money. I need my bills paid. I need all this kind of stuff. And what you're doing is you're looking for a way to get it through people or that. Here's what you need to do. I need you to take a list. I said this to a lot of people. I need you to take a list, and I need you to begin to write down where you want to end up. Where do you want to do? I need you to write down where you want to end up. What do you want to happen? What do you want to take place? I want you to write it down. I want you to write down how it's going to take place and how much you need to take place. Okay, so let's say you want to do your first real estate deal. You know that the real estate deal you're going to need, you want to do the first real estate deal. Just looking at that, because I could say you need perfect credit, but you don't need perfect credit. You want to do the first real estate deal. You want to get that deal but done by the end of the year. You need to write that down. Number one, make my first real estate purchase. Number two, I want to start my business. Number three, I want to get a new car. Why? Because all these things can be done from this point. When you understand that you are divinely placed in the position that you're in for a specific reason to affect that situation, you understand that this is not a sad thing. This is not a bad thing. This is a situation where you've been placed in the position necessary to affect and to grow from this position. But you make your list. Every day you meditate over that list. Every day you pray over that list. Every day you get up and you speak to yourself through meditation. You speak to God through prayer. And you simply say, every day, today is the day that I walk a step closer to this list. Every day. And then become aware. Stop being afraid of who he tells you to do and what he tells you to do, because what's going to happen in your spirit, healing, you want to get that in your spirit, something's going to pop up. That's what timing is all about. When it pops up, go investigate that thing at that moment. Don't wait. Don't hope. Go investigate that thing at that moment. Why? Because when you investigate that thing at that moment, the power of what that thing was is at the height of it. When people come out, and they first came out with the personal computers, they were like $5,000 for the personal computer. Why? Because that's the best computer, and you're getting in on the ground floor. The highest potency of any drug is the moment you take it for the first time. So when you hear this thing, when you feel this thing, you begin to work with that thing at that moment, because at that time is when the highest probabilities of that thing can come to pass. Then deal with the parasites or the fears that tell you you can't do it. Don't hang around people that tell you that you can't do it. Hang around people that say, okay, you can do it, but you need to consider this, and this. I have an idea that I was talking to Will about, and he said, I talked to also Indy Brennan about it, and he said, well, this needs to be done like this, and this. He just said, man, you can't. Everything can be done. You just have to be in position, in spiritual position. Now, I need everybody that is here, everybody on Instagram, I need you to type this, and I need you to type this down. I can do all things. ... I can do all things ... Because I want to talk to you about something. Everybody says that. If you're on Instagram, you can watch the replay of this on YouTube. I can do all things ... Now, everybody type that. Find a place to type it. Find a place to write it down. And I want you to read that to yourself every day. Don't try to do all specific things. Don't try to do all general things. Just simply write down. Somebody type it in the YouTube over here. Type it down here. I can do all things. Okay? That's the first thing you type. I can do all things. Why do you do that? Because when you understand that there is nothing out of the realm of possibility for you, you'll be able to realize that every opportunity will be presented to you. When you understand that there is nothing out of the realm of possibilities for you, then you'll understand that all possibilities can come to you. You follow me? So I need you to understand. I need you to realize that what you're dealing with right now is an assignment. And that assignment is designed so you can win. It's not designed so you can fail. It's designed so you can win. That's what the assignment. It is designed so you can win. Now, if you feel like you're losing, that's the parasite trying to make you feel like you're losing. Well, I have a light bill due. I have a bill due. Understand this. Okay, understand this. Follow me now. Follow me. I wish I could just take all of you guys and just take you and bring you to this retreat. I wish I could just pay for it and everybody be there. And I can sit down and look at every situation. Because at the retreat, I want you to deal with your specific situation. Okay. Rent is due. Rent is due. Once rent is due, what you have to do is realize that your supply is there. It may be God tell you to call a person. It may tell you to sell something. It may tell you to move something. But you have to realize that God has already given you everything necessary to answer the rent question. Why haven't you gotten it? Because you're clogged. You're stuck in your head. You haven't moved the stuff out of your way so that your spirit can speak and tell you exactly what to do. And you do exactly what the Spirit says according to the timing. And when that happens, then from that point on, guess what happens? You get exactly what was designed for you, which is your need being supplied. So when I say I can do all things, you have to realize you can do all things. You got to realize that all things that are happening in your life are designed by your spirit, which is the equivalent to God. See, if you allow yourself to operate according to the parasite of fear, you then lower your expectations and lower your power and ability. If you allow yourself to act like religion, you lower your spiritual ability. If you allow yourself to act Christian, because I'm trying to be Christ-like, then you lower your ability. But if you become godly, you don't want to be seen by everybody. You don't want everybody to think that. What you simply want to do is to operate effectively in the life that's been presented to you. Operate effectively in the life that's been presented to you. And when you understand that, your whole thing is, okay, I know rent can be paid, but what do I do for rent? I know the car note can be paid, but what do I do for the car note? Okay, God, what do I do? This has happened to me. This happened to me like last week. What do I do? I can't move in fear, but I have to realize that when he gets me to move, he doesn't consider fear when it comes to me moving. I need y'all to check that out. So follow me. That was kind of good. So if I tell you that I know you can defeat a person, and I say, okay, here's how you're going to make your $1 million. I need you to I need you to box Mike Tyson. And he's the only one because everybody knows Mike Tyson. I want you to box Mike Tyson. The moment fear comes in, you think that I don't know what I'm talking about, so now you begin to question what I told you to do. That's what you do with God. God says, go and invite Mike Tyson to a fight and you'll get your $1 million. And you go, Mike Tyson? You've cut off the conversation between your spirit and your spirit and your mind. The parasite is kicked in. When you go, cool, you want to fight Mike Tyson. You gonna win? Of course I'm gonna win. God told me to do it. My spirit has given me the peace to do it. I'm gonna talk to some of you who want to know how to hear in the spirit a little bit later on. So you go, Mike Tyson. So you go, and this is a hypothetical story. So you go and you call the promoter up and say, I want to fight Mike Tyson, and find out that Mike Tyson was sitting at the one to do an exhibition fight, and he was looking for somebody to do it, and you call right according to the timing. And so Mike Tyson goes, okay, cool, I'm going to fight you, and I'm going to give you $300,000 for the expedition. So now all of a sudden the money that you wanted, Mike Tyson gives you. You get to sit down in the meeting, and Mike Tyson goes, hey, you have to wear the thing and the protection, and I'm not going to hit you that hard. I just simply want to make sure that the people know that whatever the exhibition is for. But see, you have already thought past the ability for God to do what God wants to do in your life, because in your mind you think you know everything. And so what happens is that parasite has fooled you to believe that you're going to die or some harm is going to come to you. So now you believe that the spirit of fear is leading you in the right place. But how many of you know that there's a passage that said, How many of you know the passage that says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom? How many of you know that? Yeah, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You follow me? So, that's it, people. That's it. That's it. That's all. You have to realize, stop fearing it. You were created to do something great. As big as it may sound, you serve a big God, and you're connected to a big God. And when you operate in the Spirit, you operate with attributes that are akin to the Spirit of God. They're akin to the Spirit of God. And when you operate that way, what you find is you begin to give life to things that you never even knew that had life, and never even knew you could give them life, because you are a life giver. The Spirit is a life giver. When He breathed into the nostrils of Adam, He gave him life. That same Spirit is inside of you. You can breathe life into things. Stop breathing life into things that you don't want in your life, and start breathing life into things that you want. Start saying what you want instead of saying what you don't want. Stop letting the parasite have life and start killing the things that the parasite decides to destroy. All right? That's it. Are there any questions? I hear saying pay bills. My Spirit tells me pay all my bills every month. Yes, that's good. Then you let your Spirit do that. Or does your Spirit tell you to do that? I said for you. He says, my Spirit says to pay my bills every month. Is that your Spirit or is that your fear? Here's how you tell. Your Spirit tells you to pay your bills every month. Okay, fine. If your Spirit tells you to pay your bills every month, if there is nothing contrary in your spirit, if there's not a conflict, I'm going to teach this. If there's not a conflict, then that's exactly what your Spirit is saying. But if your Spirit says to you, get out of that house and go to another house, can you do that? Check your spirit out. Can you put yourself in a position where you can let go of everything and move according to the Spirit? If you can do that, you're hearing the Spirit. I don't believe that your Spirit would ever tell you not to pay your bills. I don't think that's the case. The only thing I want you to understand is, are you doing everything the Spirit is saying to pay your bills? Because guess what? There may be situations and circumstances where your spirit is going, I want you to have an abundance and not just have a supply. Think about it. I want you to have an abundance and not just have a supply, guys. That's it for me. That's the game plan. I'm done. I've done as the Spirit of God has commanded me. I haven't gone to my slides or anything like that. I got the people people on Instagram. You guys I'm going to send a link so you guys can go. Yeah, I'm going to send you a link so you guys can come to YouTube and I can do the whole teaching on YouTube. Otherwise, you kind of get a feel for part of what I'm saying instead of everything that I'm saying. You get a feel for part of what I'm saying. But that's it, people. That's it. I appreciate you. My name is William Dallas. This is the Higher Standards Chronicles. And I believe that you can do all things because you are a spirit. Meditate, pray, get ready for the next move because God has something great for you. And I know you're going to fulfill it. All right? I will talk to you guys on, what is today? On tomorrow. Okay? Peace.